start off, this is my dog Rillo, who I've had for 4 years, who I truly care about. Yet there's a disease out there that not only affects him and other animals, but us as humans as well. This disease is known worldwide, a disease that has taken the lives of thousands per year. This disease we'll be talking about today is rabies. Now, one might ask, why rabies? Why does it concern me? At some point in your life, you will come into contact with either a wild animal or even have a pet, in which both things have one thing in common. They both can contract the disease. To get a better understanding of rabies, today I will be talking about what it is, the signs of it, and how to prevent it. To start off, we must get an understanding of what rabies is. Rabies is an infectious disease that attacks the central nervous system, and in its final stages, it reaches the brain. It is transmitted only when a rabid animal's saliva comes into contact with an open wound of yours. So if the animal was to bite you, that's when you're infected. In good news though, according to the Human Society of the United States, the rabies virus is short-lived through air and can only survive in the saliva. So basically saying it can only hurt you if you get bitten and the saliva even touches the wound. Now that we have a better understanding of what rabies is, let's talk about how to identify it. Rabies is a virus that can be identified in animals and in humans. Most typically with animals, you have the most obvious symptoms, such as drooling of the mouth, agitation, or even any abnormal symptoms you typically don't see in an animal. Now, in the U.S. Acquired Human Rabies with Symptom Onset and Diagnosis Weekly Report, it gives an example of a man hospitalized with rabies and how his symptoms progressed per day. He started off with spasms in his right arm, and as days went by, he reached a fever, sweating, and feeling nauseous. In his final stage, he went into a coma, and a few days later, he passed away. What we need to understand is the progression of symptoms for either an animal or a human, they vary. What a human, most typically you will see it as symptoms of a cold. Having a high fever, you can get it confused with that. So most typically you will just take any type of medicine to cure that. With an animal, you can easily catch that by noticing your animal's different behavior. He's not eating, he's more agitated, he's drooling everywhere. And it's all about how you approach it. Now lastly, I'll explain how it's prevented. Rabies can be prevented through two ways: avoidance and vaccinations. Easily, avoidance. Don't interact with wildlife. Even if it's out there, even if it's adorable, leave it alone. And the best way you can keep wildlife away from your home is don't leave any trash or anything outside that will attract them. Leaving your trash can overnight can attract the animal to come, like strays or even raccoons. As stated by Amy Martner in Preventing Rabies, always keep your pets up to date with their vaccinations. The reason we say that is because the last thing you would want in the future is your dog to bite you and you would just take it as, oh, it's playing too much or anything like that. And later on, for you to find out that it has rabies and now you do too. And now both you and your pet are in fatal conditions. In the situation of a rabid animal attack, you must contact, the best advice is to contact your state official to follow procedure. If it is your pet, clean up the wound and take it to the nearest vet. As for a human, they always ask if you can capture or identify the animal that attacked you, so they can identify it and study it for if it has rabies. In the case that it does have rabies, you will go through a series of painful vaccinations in a way to stop the infection from spreading. It doesn't necessarily cure it, but it's just for stopping the infection. If it's too late, most typically this disease always ends with fatality. In conclusion, to better understand rabies, we have to know what it is, the signs of it, and how to prevent it. Rabies is a fatal disease that attacks the brain. Abnormal symptoms or agitation are signs of the virus. And lastly, being cautious of wildlife is your best safety to avoid rabies. So next time when you're trying to feed that wild animal, you might want to think twice about it.